Mr. Bloxham here. We're just going to make some shortbread biscuits. It's VE day today, so we're going to make some shortbread biscuits. The ingredients are flour, butter, sugar. 3 ingredients, easy recipe to remember here because it's 3, 2, 1. Also, to remind me to tell you this, you can put about 15% corn flour or 15% corn flour or ground rice in it. So on here, I've got 140 grams. So that means I need 210 grams of flour and 70 grams of sugar. So I'm going to put the sugar in, so it's roughly 3 tablespoons, which is 25 grams each. So that'll be 50. This one, take a little bit off, roughly 75. Now I've used granulated sugar, but you should use caster sugar or even icing sugar, either one will work. I'm going to cut this up. This is butter, but you can also use margarine to be cheaper with margarine. But there's certain things that I think butter's good for, and this and buttercream are the 2 things that's one of my favourite things not to use margarine for. For normal cookies and that, I can't tell the difference, but in shortbread I sometimes can. I've got plain flour. You can have other types of flour in here, like you can use rice flour as well, and ground rice gives it a different texture. That's saying the oven's on, by the way. If you can see, I put it underneath, that little bib tells me it's hot actually. So I've heated in the oven up. This will only take me about 5 minutes, maybe a bit longer where I'm talking to you. But I'm rubbing it in now, and the idea is you're rubbing it in, and it's called shortbread because the fat covers the flour granules and the gluten granules to stop them getting elasticated and long, so it shortens them. That's why it's called shortbread. So that's a good one that could come up in the exam. So I'm rubbing it together. I've got quite cold butter in here, but it should be quite cold. Some people put this in the fridge before they roll it out. I'm not going to do that. We never do that in the class. We never have enough time, but you can do that. It makes it slightly sometimes easier to roll out. If you put corn flour in it, you're reducing the gluten content, and it goes more like melts in your mouth easier, and the ground rice gives it a different texture as well, but you need about 15% of that, so you need to take some of the flour out. Now you can make chocolate shortbread, just put some cocoa in and take some of the flour. If you don't take the flour out, you won't be able to get this in a ball. So as you can see, I'm rubbing it together, and it's not going to a ball yet. If it doesn't go to a ball, you might need a little bit more fat, but this, I weighed it, so it should go to a ball, but you do need to rub it together. Also, this butter was quite cold, so it might take longer to rub together. I've used granulated sugar, so rubbing it more will make the granules smaller. You can even use icing sugar. One disadvantage of using granulated, there's a slim chance there'll be some little brown specks of sugar in it, but I make this all the time and it's normally okay with granulated. I rarely use caster because it's cost more money, and I think for most things it doesn't make a lot of difference. So now it's okay, so I can start pushing it in a ball now. So to rub it, push it into a ball, every little bit so you don't waste any of it. That's nearly done. Now there's a good way, I've got a quick tip for you here for rolling it out. So on here, into a ball, as you can see, there's no left in the bowl. Move that out the side. So I'm going to put some little bit of flour on the tray. I'm going to roll it straight on the paper and cut it on the paper, and then I don't have to move it. If you do have to move it, I've got the fish slice here to show you, but I'm not going to actually use it. So on here, I'm going to try and do it so it's got no cracks in it, then I might trim it off. So the first thing is on here, a bit of flour on top. There's a crack there already, so I have to be a bit careful here. Flour on here, roll it. Now I've got these out to show you could have one either side, then it would be that thick. That's going to be a bit thick for me, but if you can have some like chopsticks or something, might be the right size. A pound coin, they say, is about the right thickness, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing the Scottish type shortbread in a big one, then it's normally quite thick. But for these where I'm decorating, you'll get more biscuits if they're thinner. So I'm going to do this A4 size. I've got an A4 piece of paper just to show you roughly. Then I'm going to get at least 9 rectangles out of it, I'm hoping to get, because I'm going to make 9 Union Jack flags, or it's called Union Jack, I think it's called the Union flag now. I've just made these this morning because I've made a little banner. I didn't order any, so everybody on my road seems to have them, so I quickly made some and put them on Use the paper. So as you can see, this is bigger than A4, but I might get a few more out of it. So I'm going to cut it in a minute. As you can see, I didn't do the greatest job, but I need a nice long knife, which I thought I had out ready. Oh, here it is over here. I've been cutting the paper. So I'm going to trim it off. And rather than cut through it, if you do this sort of action, you'll get a nice, neat, straight line. I'll show you in a minute. In here. If this is A4 size, I'll get 9 out of it. And they'd be like flag size. I'm going to make a flag exactly the same size as this later when they're cooked. Then when I'm trying to decorate them, I'll try and make it look more realistic rather than just guessing. It makes it a little bit easier. As you can see, it's falling apart, which is normal. So in here, so that's okay. Obviously, that's not going to make a flag here, so I'm going to have to lose that. I might lose this bit here, so I'm going to lose that bit. I'm going to roll that bit out again. So let's see if this is A4 size. Not nearly. I'm going to get, I don't think I cut that very straight there. When it's cooked as well, I'm going to cut it again. So I'm going to cut it now, so I'm going to get 9 out of it. So it's definitely longer than it is wide. So I'm just going to mark it up first to see if I'm about right. Then you could use a ruler if you want to be a bit more accurate here and just measure it out. That might be good if you're not. I'm not too bad at doing this. The rolling pin was in the way a bit, not quite straight actually. Maybe I should have used the ruler. So nice and straight. Then do it 3 times. Yeah, my lines, I think you'd be better with a ruler. So I might do that again actually. Or I'm not going to bother. I think once they're cooked, they're going to misshape a bit. So they're not quite flag shaped, I think, because I think they're going to be longer. So what I'm going to do is make them so I think what the size they should be. What I should have done really is I was thinking of doing that, but I haven't got the printer thing. Is printing one out the right size because you want it on the same sort of dimensions. This one here is smaller, but I'm going to make these into sort of a different sort of shape, these squares, then I'm not going to bother. So I'm going to make at least 6 union flags. When they come out, I'm going to have to cut them again. You can now, when I'm decorating them, you don't need to do them with a fork. If you're not going to decorate them, you could prick them with a fork. So as you can see, my lines aren't that straight. I think a ruler would have been more accurate. So chuck them in the oven, middle to top shelf. I'm going to use this bit up. Now this is going to be more likely to fall apart because I've had more flour in it. So you can only roll it so many times, then you'll have to put a bit more fat in. So the second time might be good. Some in Scotland quite often they just make one big one and cut it up. And then it's a little bit thicker as well. Obviously if you make a millionaire shortbread you could put the toffee on top and the chocolate. That looks good. So roll it, spin it. Now this time I'm not rolling it on the paper, but you could do. So if you haven't got any paper, you can roll it and cut it out and lift it up with a fish slice on the paper. So I've got one here. I'm going to put it on here, then I'm going to put it on the tray in a minute. So I'm going to make some round ones now, because I might do some feathering. So these ones here, you can lift up like that, if it lets you. But if it doesn't, you can lift it up with a fish slice, and you don't lose the nice shapes around here. So you see they look nice and neat. So I might get a fork and show you what I was on about. This is called docking. This stops it. I'm only going to do this on one of them, because the other ones I'm going to probably decorate because they look old, 2 of them. Because the other 2 I might feather, because the round ones feathered look quite good. So a little bit. If you have some boiled sweets, you could cut one out and put a boiled sweet in it. They look really good. Stained glass windows. If you're doing a gingerbread house or something, they look really good. And they look good as long as you have the sweet. One more here. I never waste the bits here. This bit I'm just going to make one last one with, and that's it. And then they're going to go in the oven, 180 degrees, only till they're very, very light brown. Don't do them till they're golden brown, because that'll be too much. Most people overcook these. They think they're not cooked when they are. Last bit, look here, haven't wasted much there. Put it on the tray. And that's it. So you'll see it in a minute when they come out. Thank you. Okay, we're back. They've just come out the oven about 1 minute ago. We're going to cut them while they're hot, otherwise they'll break while they're cut. As you can see, I've already marked it out, so it's nice and easy. Push it down here, separate it a little bit. Push it down. Yeah, separate it a little bit. Down here. And on here. Don't overcook it. These ones here, got a little bit of dark colour on them. They're probably better than this one here, depending how you like them. At the moment they're quite soft, but they will go harder as they go cold. Thank you.